Hello, everybody. We're live.
Hooray!
Gik's here. Hi, Gik.
Hello.
My
Oh,
apologies.
we have someone from Rhode Island. At least I assume that's what the RI stands for. Rhode Island. I've been to Rhode Island. It's small. Uh, that's my experience with Rhode Island. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I'm not gonna make a joke about that comment. Oh, it's small.
Yeah. I mean, it is. To be fair, it is. Yeah. Anyways, you may notice that there are a whole bunch of big blue exclamation points right here. Hi, Constantine. You may wonder
Hello.
hi. You may wonder what these exclamation points are. And these are mandatory evacuations that Ukraine announced today. So all these towns are under mandatory evacuation. You would, with the amount of space that these little dots take up, you'd think it would be a lot of people. But the total population of all of these towns is like 3,000. So anyway, Constantine, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Thanks for asking. How are you? I'm actually working in the background, so I saw the stream started and I
Yeah,
was on the computer, so I thought I'd join.
cool. Uh, yep. I don't know. What should be the first topic? Exit. What do you think the first topic should be?
My good gravy me.
It could be how there haven't been any shaheeds until tonight for like a while. It was like what, like 5 days without shaheeds. That's one story.
Yeah. What is with that? Like, that is really notable. And then to see that they had Shahed attacks followed by missile attacks, let me point out, tonight was super interesting.
Yes. I forgot that I didn't tweet. I'm gonna do a tweet now. But yeah, there was shaheeds tonight. So we kind of learned something about them attacking tonight. We learned something, not very much, but a little bit. And the thing we learned is that Russia apparently is manufacturing around 360 shaheeds a month.
Is that really manufacturing, or is that also what they import?
I don't know. I mean that's about how many they have available apparently.
Okay.
And
It's huge number.
yeah, if every day that they didn't attack kind of lowered the number, you know what I mean? So we were actually kind of hoping that it would be another few days before they attacked, because then it would hint at fewer than 350, which is kind of what we were going for. Like, but it seemed, because we knew that they had between 300 and about 360, and them attacking today hints at the higher end of that range. That's instead of the 300 range, it's more like the 360 range, and maybe even higher. But it hints at about 360. Now we don't know how those numbers come about. We don't know if, like for example, are they stockpiling a really big number and then firing them all out of that stockpile, or are they getting batches of like 100 and then using like 100 at a time, or what? Like we don't know how that works. And we'll probably learn more over the course of the next few days how they use them. Tonight, I don't think they fired very many. I think I only saw that like six. I wasn't really paying attention though, but I only saw a number of six. Do you know if they fired more than that? They may have.
I really don't know. I was just paying attention to the air raid alerts, so I'm not your girl.
Yeah, so I know they attacked Odessa, and I know they attacked just generally north. Like they always do this thing where um they have like drones like fly through Berislav up to like kind of this area of Mykolaiv, and kind of just north from there, up towards here, and they typically like turn west and then keep on going up until they get to that airport. Their favorite airport that they always attack. It's like magnetically draws all the shads. Where is that airport? I always forget where it is. It's like over here somewhere. Oh, it's right there. Um, so that seems to be like one of their favorite ways of attacking, and they also attack that route with cruise missiles. Whenever they fire cruise missiles, they appear to use that. Another way that they like to attack is kind of up the Dnipro, where they like kind of fly past Zaporizhia, and then they kind of like fly up to the Cherkasy region, and then turn west and fly up to the airport. So, and sometimes they'll instead of turning west towards Cherkasy, they'll fly north from Dnipro towards Poltava, and then they'll kind of wrap around towards Kyiv, and then go west to the airport. They always go west to the airport. It's like their favorite thing. Do we have multiple people from Rhode Island here right now? Where are the odds of that? Anyways, so that's one story. Are there more stories? Gick, what do you think? Or exit?
Well, I was just going to say, I actually just checked Shahed Tracker, and it's only been 3 days since we saw some.
Yeah,
But it
yeah.
just seems way longer because they're so consistent with
But
them usually.
I think they only fired like a very small number that day, though. There have been a few days where they shot like 2. From what I remember, like they hit one area in Sumi. They hit it with like 2 Shaheds and like 2 ballistic missiles. In the same day, like the same building. They just didn't like that building. So
I think that was the 13th.
yeah, the 13th or so. Yeah, so yeah, I have like a whole spreadsheet where I track this. So yeah, well, it's I only have today active, so you can only see today. But I will fix that in a second. Why you not work? Anyways, so I have a whole sheet where I have all of these Shahedi things, and along with a whole bunch of other things. And this is a public sheet. I did tweet it at one point, and you can look at the tweet to get the link. So yeah, when was the last Shahed that I have? I can't remember. I don't know why the search function isn't working. It's weird. Anyways, yeah, so what day was that? That was the 9th? Okay, I think they attacked on the 13th, though. But the 9th, I think, is what they were talking about, where they fired a few Shaheds at a few buildings. No, I can't talk about that. That good news, no. No good news for you. Anyways, tonight the Russians attacked Kharkiv, and there's this video that I wanted to show where they've been shooting a lot of S-300s into the city. I know, Konstantin, if you'd like to talk about this. You seem like the person. But they've been hitting hotels, etc.
Yeah, the Russians has been targeting hotels a lot. I think it's their way of saying, like, forget about Ukraine. don't like the biggest issue that one of the biggest issues that Ukraine. I don't know. Can you hear me well? First of all,
Yes.
before I continue on my long rant. So one of the big issues that Ukraine is facing is that everyone has forgotten about Ukraine, and since we are 10 times smaller country than Russia, and much smaller population, much lesser resources, we do depend on the foreign aid to survive, to keep alive in this war. So being forgotten on the world political arena is super it's super dangerous for us, and Russia understand this, and they do want Ukraine to be forgotten as a war, and they want world basically to say, okay, just move on and don't remember about it. And so what they do, for example, in Kharkiv, that's my version, and other parts of Ukraine, is that they start targeting hotels. And hotel is the whenever someone goes to Donbass, they usually stay either in Kharkiv or Dnipro. The journalists, foreign journalists. So by targeting the hotels, they're basically saying, "Don't come here." And the prominent big journalists are usually, they are. It's a problem to get them in Ukraine right now, as is. And best they stay at Kyiv usually. However, the issue is that those who stay in Kyiv are usually not interested, not don't have much to report. So this way is Russia basically denying coverage and saying, don't come to Donbass, don't watch this war, is dangerous for you, just forget about it like it never existed. That's my take on it. They're also targeting like people from international organizations, such as anywhere from charities such as Red Cross to UN to European Council to European Council. They do stay in hotels usually, and when you know that the whole whatever whenever someone will see a foreigner in a nearby the hotel, Russia is gonna strike it, which makes it when people travel, they just think, well, I don't want to stay at the hotel. And it's quite discouraging for the most of foreign journalists, because that's the way they used to travel. Of course, there are still ways to stay. I mean, there are minimum of small apartments that you could rent on Airbnb, but it's just not as. First of all, it's harder to to find for foreigners. It's harder to find common language. And I think that's the way for them, to add an additional dimension to this war, basically denying Ukraine and denying the war international coverage. I don't know if others agree, but that's my personal take on it.
I actually think that there's a kind of middle ground that's ideal for Ukraine, where they need a certain amount of attention to maintain staying in the minds of the politicians, but they can't have too much attention, because you don't really want to politicize the war too much. And I think getting too much attention leads people to polarize over the war, which is, I think, what happened in the United States and has happened in a few other countries. And I think if you kind of have a little bit less attention, but not too much less. Like, there has to be like a balance where if you have a little bit less attention, the population doesn't care, but the politicians can still care. Like, you need that balance, and it can't go too far in either extreme. And that's probably a delicate tightrope to walk. But I do think that losing attention isn't necessarily bad for Ukraine, as long as they maintain that minimum amount that's necessary.
I think that's bad for us, but yeah, I do agree that too much attention is not good. It becomes too easy topic to politicize and attack on. this would happen to Ukraine, but essentially was political divide in the United States, when even though both parties supported Ukraine initially, one party decided to not support Ukraine simply because it was useful. It was an easier thing to do, like war billions. It's an easier access for attack. So yeah, it did not play too well, but I think if like the Ukraine needed a lot of attention at the beginning, like really a lot. We needed to scream, around the world. But the issue was that people got tired. I mean, even if it's your relative, people right now have short attention span. They get used to pain. They get used, I mean, to seeing others suffer, and this would happen to us. It backfired a bit. Like, it was too much, and everyone was, okay, let's just, they did not lose, so let's just forget about it and let it smolder for whatever's going on. They survived, so we're gonna come back. Only they are on the verge of losing Kyiv once again.
Yeah, I mean, I think people still care. I think that's important, because I actually think people are starting to care more than they used to. I mean, I don't have the stats on it, but just from the people I interact with, like, not online, I mean, like, in person, I think what happened in Israel was actually very good for Ukraine. I think it made people care more about Ukraine. At least amongst the people that I know. Yeah, and I've one thing that I've seen people really care about, just like random people that I talk to, is the way that the United States is giving so many components to Russia that they use in weapons. I think people are really upset about that. I hear people just talking about it, that they're like, I can't believe we're giving Russia weapons, I hear that. I just hear that a lot. And I feel like that is, like, there were a few articles written about that. And I think those articles, like, touched a lot of people that in a way that I never expected people to have that response. I never expected them to care so much. I see it, I hear it all the time, just from, like, my neighbors, and just talking like, I can't believe we're giving Russia weapons. Like, even people who don't support Ukraine are upset about that. But anyways, Gik, what do you think about Germany? What do you think? This conversation, how does this apply to Germany?
Oh, it's a tough question. Because I feel like in my direct circles, a lot of people have grown to live with, the situation as it's simply existing, and they continued with their life, which is of course quite sad. At the same time, if you would ask most of them what to do, or if you should support Ukraine or something like that, you would get a definitive yes. So I feel like people talk less, but at the same time, I do feel like that might be an environment to actually get stuff done. So it's a bit tricky if I want to have more, more attention, more coverage, more, people talking about it constantly, because that also wakes up the sleeping badniks.
Yeah, I think that's especially true in Germany, where the government doesn't seem to like being told what to do. So it's kind of like the more space you give them, the more they're willing to do. I don't really like that. Like, it bothers me, but that's just the way they are, I guess. I don't know, do you think that's kind of a German thing, or do you think that's just like Schultz?
Well, I think it's also a tricky question. Is it a German thing? It might be, but at the same time, we do have a very weak coalition in the government right now, which is, it has a lot of infighting and so on. So any source from the outside putting additional pressure on it and showing that government is weak is not good, because there already is so much weakness portrayed by that government. So I think it's very special right now in this instance. I couldn't say that's very German in general.
Yeah, it's a bit annoying. Like it kind of puts off like a bad vibe that I get from it. It's kind of like they don't like the constituents having an opinion. That's kind of the vibe I get. It's like, yeah, whatever, peasant. I'll do what I want. But yeah, these images that I'm showing now, these are not Kharkiv. These are from New York. New York was hit by an airstrike yesterday that did tremendous damage. There were a bunch of wounded people who had to be evacuated, and this is the damage. So this is one of the bigger stories recently. There was also a rather large strike on where was that? I can't remember. There's so many. I think I mapped it yesterday. Oh, yes, here on this this little apartment building here got hit pretty hard. You can't really see how much damage it is in this photo, but it was pretty bad. So yeah, this is Karakhove, and it's basically the target city behind the now captured Mariinka. Obviously, Russia has to go through quite a few towns and a whole lot of fortifications to get to this. But this is kind of one of their real primary targets. Like, this is really what they want to capture. It's kind of here and Slovyansk, I think, are their two dreams. I don't think they'll ever capture either of them. But I think those are kind of their dream victories. So anyway, Russia is starting to hit the city with a lot of long-range strikes, a lot of like tornadoes, Iskanders every once in a while, S-300s, occasionally airstrikes. I think they even got hit by a cruise missile. But yeah, they've been hitting the city itself, also the power plant, and various infrastructure in the city. A lot of the strikes, my mouse is broken. Anyway, a lot of strikes are along this railway, and I'm not exactly sure if they're targeting this stuff to the north or to the south, because all the strikes appear to be the railway itself. They never, at least the photos that Ukraine publishes, that they're all on the railway itself, so I can't really tell what they're targeting, but they do hit this city quite often. And they're starting to terrorize the city to a point.
I remember geolocating, like, I don't know, 2 or 3 months ago, maybe, a couple of strikes, both to the bridges as well as to the warehouses just north of the railway.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's a thing. They've also been kind of hitting this kind of conglomeration of towns, especially Alexandroville, with airstrikes, etc. There's another Alexandroville that you should not confuse it with. It is this one up here, which is a completely different place. It's so confusing which one, but you always know that it's this one when they list it next to Krasnohorivka, although that doesn't tell you much because the other one is right next to a different Krasnohorivka. Man, Ukraine really gets you.
It's like it's an entire country built on the idea that we can just make you drive in circles and you will never figure it out.
Yeah. And also, when people say it's the Novobakhmutivka next to Krasnohorivka, but there's two of them, because there's one there, and then there's one here. Man. Constantine, did you ever realize how confusing Ukraine was? Or did this like go under the radar for you?
It definitely went under the radar for me. Never thought that it would be, so confusing to people.
It's so confusing. It's just like there's I feel like Ukrainians didn't know this. I wonder if like the postmen in Ukraine knew this, and they're always like complaining about it. It's just nobody cared.
But Konstantin, serious question: how do you differentiate those towns? Like, take Novobakhmutivka. How would you differentiate that as a Ukrainian?
Okay, once again, give me the example from the what is your problem with differentiating it?
So we have two Novobakhmutivkas here. You can see both on the stream. One is to the left, one is to the right there. How would you know which one it is? Do you have to give like another town next to it, or is it like a district, or?
Yeah.
So there are like rayon, what we call, that's like, usually larger cities are center of it. So probably it has one Novobakhmutivka is in one rayon, which is basically region. I know in English they say Kharkiv region, Kiev region, but in fact it's called oblast, which is like basically an area. And then you have underneath that you have a region actually, and probably those two belong to different regions. So even though they're close to each other, you would probably, one of them it belongs to, for example, Bakhmut region, another one is to I don't know, Sloviansk region or whatever there is. So that's how usually you would differentiate. But of course, even for anyone who's not familiar with this specific place, even if you are from Donetsk region, you would have problems with that, because those are not the large cities, not the towns that or villages that you probably ever heard of. So
Yep. I just imagine, like, say you're just like a teenage kid, right? And this girl is like, "Hey, you should come to my house. I live in Novobakhmutivka." And you're like, "Okay, I'll be right there." Wait a second. That's just the way I think of it. As man, it would be confusing. I'm just saying.
it's like, yeah, so it's like counting United States regions. So you can imagine you can have two counties with the same towns probably, and maybe those counties may be on the same, the towns may be close to each other even though they're in different counties. So I mean, it doesn't happen too much, obviously,
Yeah.
that they're so close. Of course, it does happen. I know there is like
There are a few.
Vasela, a lot of those, Fedorivok, really a lot of those as well. So, but usually they're not as close, and they're usually really small ones. So you would not, how many towns are there in this Bakhmutivkas? Like how many buildings? Maybe 100 or 50 buildings.
These aren't big, no.
Yeah, both of them are small.
This one's a little bit bigger, but still not very big.
Yeah, it's a small village that you can walk over. Like you need 5 minutes to walk from one end to another, maybe 7.
Yeah. So we have a question. I'm gonna give it to you, Konstantin, because I don't know how to answer it, to be honest. But he says, I rarely see evidence of Ukraine's military targets getting struck behind the lines. Are pro-Ukrainian bloggers not publishing the info, or is Russia not having success at hitting valuable targets?
Well, I would, it's hard. Like there is an agreement not to do that. I mean, it gives enemy too much information, and I don't. Most people don't do this. And first of all, you must understand that what is a military target here? Is it like like a military base? Well, you don't want definitely show even if it was struck, you don't definitely want to you definitely don't want to show, oh, we had people there, because that means, okay, this was a correct strike, and for example, a dude who's giving them this information is to be trusted. You don't want that. You want them to actually work on that information, try to get it. And when when your intelligence is working on getting that information, you can find the agents, you can expose them, I mean, it's a secret information. I don't even though if it's like public on a public place, in a public space, sort of public area somewhere, where a lot of cars, a lot of people, I could imagine it would leak. But most of the military targets right now are like we're hiding, we're not keeping them in the open, because this war has been going on for 2 years, and this invasion has been going on for 2 years, and any place in Ukraine can be targeted by them. So giving them this information just doesn't make sense. I mean, if someone who has an audience, pro-Ukrainian person, would publish something like this first, like bring into the public space, he would immediately get a strong pushback, and he would have a visit by the SBU if he's in Ukraine. If he's not in Ukraine, he would get in trouble with his audience. That if his audience is pro-Ukrainian people, so I don't think that it makes any sense publishing the losses, even though sometimes we're all interested. Okay, where did they hit? But and it's good for us, and also it's good publicity. Like, okay, saying basically, okay, Russians are only targeting civilians, right? try finding Russians hitting Ukrainian military. You no such events.
I think there are two more things to say here. One thing is that Russia is also really not publishing if Ukraine hits any of their military targets, right? This is not typically something which is obviously done for very, very logical reasons.
I think they're more willing than Ukraine is, though.
No, I think what's the difference with the Russians is that the Russians are very, very subject to the blame game, because Russians never want to be responsible themselves, is something I notice. So often on Telegram, you will end up with people blaming each other. And that's how you will find out that something really happened. And that's how you find out that information leaks and videos come out. And the second item, I think, is that when it comes to BDA, so with the assessment of the damage, the Russians rarely put out actual videos of how something got destroyed. So this is also something which is missing. So a lot of the military targets which might be hit can never be located or tracked publicly.
Yep. So the other day, there was strikes in Chernihiv and Sumy. And I marked on my map where they actually hit is this one. And this is, I'm almost certain, was their target. Which I have absolutely no information on whether they hit it or not. But I just kind of wanted to mark both just for my own purposes. But they hit this building. We have photos and videos, etc. There's so many photos and videos. So they hit this building. It drove me crazy how many photos and videos there were. But did they also hit this one? Ukraine never published anything. Ukraine only published stuff like in this block and only like looking north. So they never published anything looking south. Which you could find, like, you could say that's suspicious. Maybe like maybe one hit there and one hit there. Like I don't know, but this was just a kind of an example that came to mind immediately. And there's another one over here which was similar, where this was the obvious target, and this is where it actually hit. And there are tons of photos and videos, and you can go watch. These links have photos and videos in them that you can go watch if you want. So yeah, I have lots of text, etc. So did they also hit this building? I don't know. But we do know it, they hit here. So I don't know if that kind of addresses the question of battle assessment or did battle damage assessment or what? Like are their weapons just this inaccurate? Or is Ukraine just publishing a fraction of the footage? Like, I don't know. We could probably tell by satellite imagery, but I haven't looked. Anyways. That just immediately popped into mind because it happened just a few days ago. Okay, so I guess we could get into general news, or at least the frontline news. We know that Russia has had success near Petropavlivka, but we don't know where. There have been no videos. It's just both the Ukrainians and the Russians saying that Russia had success, that they've moved up, they've captured positions, with absolutely no specifics at all. We don't know how far they moved up. We don't know where they moved up. We don't know which positions they captured. But apparently they've captured something like here-ish. Not in Sinkivka, but to the east of it somewhere. Gek, did you see news about? I couldn't miss it. Like everybody was talking about this. Like it always happened to be like a Ukrainian would say it, and then a Russian would be like, "See, we did it."
No, I didn't see anything. Nothing tangible, at least.
Yeah. Well, yeah. There's been no videos or whatever. So that's one thing. I don't really have much news about this Kislivka area, etc. Do you have news about that area? I don't.
No.
We had like some geolocations there the other day that drove me crazy, but nothing really important. And my mouse is going crazy. I need to like buy a new mouse. But around Turney, there's it's possible Ukraine still controls this area, or it's possible that this video is just old. I'm not sure. It is very snowy. And it is very snowy. So.
And it's the wrong picture, by the way.
Oh, whatever. How did that get the wrong picture?
I don't know, but that's clearly Kudymyevka.
Yeah. I need to fix that, apparently. But yeah. So I guess this is old then, because there's no snowy. I thought there was. Okay, so that's definitely old. Never mind. But anyways, this front line appears to be more or less stabilizing. I've heard some talk of Ukrainians taking back positions. I'm not really sure. Around Makivka, we saw a while ago. Wasn't this on like January 3rd or something that we had this video of infantry walking through this field, and then they were hit by like cluster munitions, and then they tried running away, like they tried running this way, and they got hit by, I think, automatic grenade launchers. And then they like kind of got onto this forest and were like moving up the forest, and got hit by a whole bunch of drones, right?
I think so, but I would need to look up when it was.
Yeah, I think it was like the first week of January. I go back in time and see if I can find it. But there's been oh, so here's the second. So it's really hard to see, but these are little Russians, and these little splashes are automatic grenade launchers, I believe. Grenades hitting the ground, and so anyways, recently, I know like Deep State has marked this whole area as Russian controlled, and I think they used that video from the second as their evidence for Russia having captured it. But I don't think this video shows them capturing it. I think it just shows them not being alive anymore. Personally, that's kind of what I got out of it. Is that I don't think anyone in that video is alive. And there were a whole bunch of tanks that we didn't know were destroyed as well, which was I don't know if those tanks are new or old. I assume they're very old.
I appreciate that you and I talk often about the fact that we can barely take it, like keep a timeline in our heads, and somehow you can pull out of thin air that that was definitely around the 3rd or the 2nd of January. That's impressive.
Yeah. Sometimes I remember things by accident. Um, in the forest, there's been. I always say that I don't really map the forest because it's like impossible, but I just increased the gray area because there's this drone bombing, etc. I don't know if that drone bombing even shows anything. Near Bilohorivka, Russia has moved up and captured a few positions. None of those positions are important, let's be honest. And these positions have gone back and forth several times. And I'm not sure exactly how far up. They may have captured these as well.
Well, they also attacked from the north, it seems, because there were several videos now from the north where they lost BMPs and so on.
Yeah, they may have. Maybe. I don't know. This is a really brutal place to attack because it's like a really narrow valley. So like this and this are like the same height, but this middle part is really low. Like it's like a 20-meter difference or something. So it's like just a really steep valley. It's kind of brutal. You kind of have to go over this road over here, or this one. But this middle valley is really difficult to attack. Every single time Russia has moved up and captured this tree line, they've had to abandon it because they couldn't resupply it. Is Russia increasing fortifications and laying more minefields? And the answer is yes. Yeah, of course they are. So is Ukraine. Ukraine is increasing fortifications and building minefields too. Probably has something to do with them forcibly evacuating all those towns. It might be related to building more fortifications, maybe.
Okay, so that was my question for the night. If they're evacuating towns, what are we seeing anything from the Russian side that would lead us to understand why that's happening?
Well, it appears that one of Russia's goals is to capture Kupiansk, and also Dvorichna. And all of these towns are in that area. I don't know what else to say. All of like I said before, all of these towns have a collective population of around 3,000. Also, when they say mandatory evacuation, they don't like force you to leave. It's like it's just a really strong suggestion. I think the only people they force to leave are children. Like they make the children leave, but the adults can stay.
Yeah, that's something I was going to mention, is that like forcible evacuations does not necessarily mean that everybody leaves. That has been the case everywhere.
They stated, this is the text. So there's a total population of 3,043 people, and there's 279 children. So I imagine these children will be forcibly removed. Typically, not like, I don't mean like kidnapping, but like typically they go to the parent and be like, "You gotta go." uh, and then, the other thing is that if I remember right, man, I might be misremembering this. I think I'm right though. I think Estonia is paying for this. I think that's what they said. Man, I wish this text said that. It'd make me feel better. But I remember, man, I might be wrong. I think Estonia is paying for it. Anyways, I read today that Estonia is paying for various humanitarian things around Kharkiv. One of the things that they're paying for is what they call minor home repairs. Like it can't be significant. Like they're not rebuilding your house, but they're paying. I think it's up to 50,000 hryvnia or 52,000 hryvnia worth of home repairs, and I think it's meant to be like small repairs that are necessary, like if you have a hole in your roof, they'll patch it, like those sorts of repairs. And it's supposed to be repairing damage from artillery. So that's one thing Estonia is doing, and I can't. I think this relocation is also done by Estonia, but I'm not positive on that. But I do know that I'm pretty sure this is paid by some foundation that they've like set aside money to buy all of these people housing somewhere that's not here. So when they say evacuation, they're not like making you homeless. They're giving you another place to live. At least that's what they claim. Constantine, do you happen to know anyone who's been relocated?
No, I'm sorry, I don't know.
Oh well.
Should we talk about the possibility that this might be to conceal troop movement as well?
Sure.
Go ahead. Because I know you would love to talk about a potential offensive.
You know I'm anti-offensive.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess you could move troops. I don't know.
I mean, typically, one of the first things that you hear on Twitter and other sources, once there's a mandatory evacuation, it is confused a lot, and people will immediately jump to the conclusion that there's an imminent offensive because Ukraine is now moving all the Abrams through Kupiansk, and people shouldn't see it. Something like that. I don't think we should interpret that.
No, I don't think so. Ukraine is in no position to do an offensive here. They're like heavily outnumbered and outgunned. Like, and constantly losing ground. Like, I don't think this is where you would attack. It kind of makes no sense. Where would you even attack would be another question. Like, where would you even go? There's no obvious place to attack. That's been the problem with this area the whole time, is that like Russia has an obvious target in Kupiansk and in Degradation, but Ukraine doesn't really have a obvious target. At least not immediately. Like you could say Svatova is a target, but how do you get there? Like getting there is the problem. All of these hills are really difficult to pass through. That's why Ukraine tried and it didn't work. I mean, I guess they didn't try that hard, but they tried. They could have tried harder, I guess, but I guess they could have sent like their 10 brigades at it. Maybe it would have worked. I don't know.
You know, I'm convinced that Ukraine could take Troitsky within 1 or 2 weeks if they went through Belgorod.
Wait, what?
I'm saying they could take Troitsky, which is in the north of Svatove, important railway hub.
Yeah, if you go this way.
Yeah, if you went through Belgorod, I'm pretty sure that the entire Belgorod border is less protected than the Russian front line inside of Ukraine.
It would be objectively funny.
Yeah, it would be, and I'm convinced it would work. And since I'm also convinced it will never happen, no one can prove me wrong.
Konstantin, do you think Ukraine could permanently annex this little square? Like,
That would be fun and perform like Russians. They stole the south of Kherson and Zaporizhia without actually taking, without actually holding the oblast centers, so capitals. So you can annex entire region Russian, perform the how you say, like the referenda, and take it over, like the entire region, not only the stuff that you hold, but entire entire place instead.
this little square, though, you could because it would be hard for Russia to attack it. I think you could hold this little square if you really wanted to. It's not a big deal. It's only like a few square kilometers. What could go wrong? Hey John, I have a comment for you.
Hit me.
Okay.
Oh, my phone's so sorry. My audio is terrible.
Okay, so here's the question. It's not really a question, it's just a comment. It said, the West's self-inflicted the reduction in public opinion by bragging about how many billions of dollars in aid they supplied. They should have bragged less and done more.
I'm not sure I agree with the premise of that question in the sense that, at least from my perspective from, kind of the US side of things, was the presentation was always, we've provided Ukraine with X amount of money, and that was never, in and of itself, was never really conveyed, in my opinion. It was always, to someone who doesn't know better, which is 90% of the public, it was conveyed as if we were giving money, not equipment, or at least it wasn't obvious. And then the presentation was always in relation to the damage done to the Russians, and as in like return on investment. And I'm not sure with hindsight if that was the best way to replace it. But I mean, I understand the logic with hindsight of not really talking about the dollar value very much, to avoid drawing attention to it.
Yeah.
The downside of it is that if you don't talk about the number very much, the people who are against it are going to invent numbers. They're going to do that anyway, of course, but if you aren't really discussing the actual figures, it's potentially harder to deal with people making up BS about the numbers, is the risk.
What do you think of the problem of them putting out so many transparent numbers and then them realizing the numbers were wrong?
Are you talking about the PDA accounting error?
Yeah.
I'm not sure how that error happened, to be honest, because so the prescribed procedure per DoD regulations is that the value of defense articles for the purposes of PDA, Presidential Drawing Authority, or like an excess defense articles grant, that's determined using the net book value, which is historical acquisition cost minus accumulated depreciation. Some portion of it, like Gimler's and a couple other things, were computed using the replacement cost. And I guess I just don't understand why that mistake was made, because it's one thing if they had been using the replacement cost for everything and just not knowing what the hell was going on. That's one thing, but for probably a good 50% of the defense articles provided, they were using the correct net book value, but for the other half, they weren't. And it's honestly inexplicable. I really wonder if it was a multi-departmental thing, i.e. you had like program executive offices for different areas, independently computing net book values for items that were drawn down, and then that getting compiled by the Office of the Secretary of Defense or something, or the comptroller. That would be my guess, but I need to actually go take a closer look at what was misvalued to see if there's any connection there.
Can't do a lot for trust, though.
Well, it was a rather harmless mistake in the sense that it didn't really impact the amount of assistance that Ukraine was getting. Yeah, I mean, it was a moron moment, but I don't really think there's been a negative downside to it, to be honest.
Okay. There's our that was the question we were given. It was more of a comment than a question. But anyways, so getting back to things. Gick, do you have any news about Spirna?
No, it's generally always the same. You get Russian shelling Spirna, and if they talk about Spirna, it's typically in Siversk, or at least that area. But nothing tangible or no frontline movements obvious from what I geolocated or what I saw geolocated.
This question that we just got, I might do a whole video about it because it's interesting. Anyway, the question is about using FPV drones as a way of bombarding an area, like a rolling bombardment, or just as a heavily concentrated, very, very large numbers. What do you think, Konstantin?
So, this is quite real, I think. There are, of course, issues with that, but it's an evolution. I think there are bomber FPV drones, which are not super precise, but they have a certain precision. A problem with those is that it still carries only so much payload. There are FPV drones that can carry around 2 kilograms of explosives. I think the standard, for example, a 155 millimeter shell that is used for bombardment has, I think, around equivalent of 4 kilograms of explosives. I don't exactly remember, but maybe John can correct me here. So it's one half of that, which is still a lot. And considering that FPV drone provides a lot of is much more precise than artillery, so this can be done and can be decrease your ammunition usage. However, it comes with a lot of pitfalls, because you have to design you have to design it really well, which you're doing, the tactics. First of all, this is winter, not much greenery is there, not a lot of leaves or branches. So when you're using the artillery shell, it also has a lot of kinetic energy that comes with it and allows it to penetrate the trees. If you're using FPVs, it only has so little. The bomber FPVs, I mean, it only has so little kinetic energy to go through the green belt, so it may explode 5-10 meters in the air, which will not cause significant damage to whatever whatever your goal is. Of course, if you can, especially if the people like the infantry is hidden there. Of course, this allows you to design a bit different types of ammunitions that would work better for green belts. But once again, what it adds is like different dimension where you would have to have really rebuild your tactics, rebuild your strategies, and rebuild your industrial
Uh, did we lose Constantine or did we lose me?
I think. Can you hear me?
Okay, you're
did
back.
you lose me?
Okay. At the word industrial.
Oh, so like you have to rebuild your industry to allow build different types of munitions for the FPV drones, which would then you need people knowing about that, being aware of those. You have to plan the logistics properly so you have them, a lot of them when they're needed, a lot of the right types. And also you have the pilots who would have to know what they're doing much better. But if we speak, for example, about when we speak about the non-bomber FPV drones, like that would just go in and destroy itself. Like you can get some, for example, kinetic energy with it, additional kinetic energy with it that would allow it to be a bit more effective. But still, it's not. It would not be enough. But what would it allow it to be more precise? And you can actually like first three maybe 10 FPV drones would just destroy all the green leaves and branches that are there, and then the rest of them penetrate your target. But what you're losing also is that the price, like each FPV is like $500 plus the explosive plus the charge. Let's say it's 700. One round of ammunition cost you around 1,000. Now it's more a bit because of the shortage, but once again there may be a shortage of FPV drones as well if you start using them like this,
So-
and the price can go up for them as well. So I mean you can do it, but you got to take into account a lot of things. You have to think this through really well, and then you may be successful. What's happening right now, I know in much more, is that we have the octocopters, and we have more heavier hovering drones, like not FPV types. They are like DJI Mavic. They hover over the target. They're quite precise, and they can carry like much heavy explosives. We've seen the TM62 mines being dropped from them, which is quite comparable, if not even more powerful than 155 millimeter round.
That's more
So
powerful.
the-
Well,
Yeah.
I think it has more
So-
explosive, but it doesn't have like the shell.
Yeah, but it has more explosives, and you can develop it further, have it add additional shrapnel to it. You may but the idea is of the size of the ammunition itself, not that it's a mine, but in the future you can design proper the munitions, and it would be effective. But the minus side of those drone, negative side of that, is that they operated mostly during the night, because they are quite easy to detect, and because they're large, they're loud. So the infantry, the position that you come in against would know that you're coming for them, will have time to hide, obviously, and that's will cause you limit your capabilities. So a lot of things that have to come to mind to allow you to use those drones. But we constantly use the heavy what they call Baba Yaga drones at night to bombard their bunkers. to destroy their positions at night. So like the drones can be used to substitute for artillery, but it's not that straightforward. It's just having a battery of M777s or Mstag Bs or similar weapons just lining up and destroying the tree line. But of course, you have to remember that while the round itself is expensive for the M777 or Mstag B, also the howitzer itself. It's actually there is a process to train your people, the crew. There is a process that needs to happen, like to build this howitzer, and it's much more complex than just building FPVs. So it has its own pros and cons. It's just conventional armies are much used to the artillery. I hope I covered. I hope I answered the question.
Yeah, so there are a few. There's a sub question that you kind of touched on, sort of. Someone asked, "Is there a version of the FPV that does not explode and can return?" And the answer is yes. There are FPV dive bombers. They are used. They're not super common, but they are used. We see video all the time. I have video that I could show you, but I'm scared to look for it. I could look for it. Gick, do you think I should look for it? Because I'm scared of like breaking the spreadsheet.
I think there were some yesterday, but so you don't have to look very far. It might be today or yesterday. At the same time, I'm not entirely convinced you can show them.
Yeah, I will. Oh yeah, there was one yesterday. I will look to see if this is a showable video. Oh boy. I'll watch the video first. The videos are really hard to watch. Yeah, I can show this. There's nothing wrong with this one. They're hard to understand what's happening, but this is an FPV drone that is dropping a bomb, and the bomb went off right there. They're used all the time. Ukraine's been using these a bunch near Avdiivka. I'll show you where in Avdiivka. It's right in this area here, along this railway. They've been hitting this with dive bombers pretty frequently. Some of the dive bombers are dropping gas grenades, which is interesting. There's a culvert here somewhere. There's a culvert. I think it's like right here. And the Russians hide in there. And the Ukrainian dive bomber will fly at the culvert at full speed and then like fling like a gas torpedo into the culvert and pull up and fly away. And the culvert will be full of gas. And then they'll kind of reload and go fling more gas in there. There's the drone just kept flinging gas. So yeah, there are dive bombers, and they are used. They're not super common, but they are a thing. They've been used to blow up tanks before. The dive bomber can hold any munition that the normal one can hold. It lets go of the munition. It takes more skill to fly, I'm sure. And you have reduced range because you have to fly home. But they exist. Oh, you want to use an RPG along with its rocket to shoot it further? If you remember earlier in this war, very early, there were drones that were firing rockets. Those rockets were designed and manufactured by Sweden. It was a Sweden drone program as part of their military drone research. I don't think they're used anymore. I'm not sure how useful they are. They have the downside of being very easy to spot and shoot down. The same way, well, because they're the octocopter things. It's the same ones that Ukraine's now using to drop bombs. Just that they had rocket launchers that would shoot straight down, basically. Sweden also developed munitions that don't shoot straight down, that they can aim a little bit. And I don't know if Ukraine has ever had those, but they do exist. Sweden does have them. I'm not sure what they do with them, but basically, they can shoot on an angle that's not straight down. Like they can aim forward a little bit. I don't know how useful that is. Shooting straight down might be better. I don't know.
Did I maybe misunderstand the question or the comment? As I kind of read it in a way that they would like to, launch the drone at distance. There are recon drones. I think the Russian artillery uses them or has them, which can be launched through the artillery barrel into a target area.
I don't think that's the question.
Okay. Then
He says, he said, I saw the FPV dive bombers, but my question was to use the RPG along with its rocket to achieve more kinetic energy and save the drone for another mission. An FPV drone, I don't think can carry it because those rockets are pretty heavy. The bigger drones can carry the rockets and have used them successfully to destroy things, but they just suffered the problem of being easy to shoot down. I think they were using AT4s. I think that's what they were using. They developed a shooting mechanism for the drone to aim and shoot it, which is actually harder than you think. You can't just strap it to the drone. There's more engineering than that.
And I guess the next step would be then having some sort of Lancet equivalent with the warhead, which gets launched upon impact.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Yep. So, around Avdiivka, I recently got invited to a it's not private. It's like it's a locked Telegram channel for Avdiivka, and I'll tell you what, joining this Telegram was probably a mistake. It is almost unconscionably depressing. It's really difficult to read. I can barely get through it every day. I kind of dread looking at it. Avdiivka is a mess. I don't know how else to describe it. It's really bad, and I mean for the civilians, because this is a civilian-based thing. It is so incredibly depressing what's going on there. Because there are still I don't know how many. The last count was 1,300, but there's not 1,300 anymore. They one or two of them are passing away every day, basically. It's incredibly depressing. There have been constant airstrikes. Today was one of the worst strikes, worst day of strikes on Avdiivka. Constant artillery all day long. The morning report was basically, they basically said last night was one of the worst nights that they've ever been in Avdiivka. So it was constant rocket barrages, constant airstrikes, constant artillery. They say that the artillery is getting closer and closer to the center of the city, and the rocket barrages and airstrikes are hitting the center of the city. And when we geolocate these strikes, they're hitting this is where the civilians are, is right here, and they're it really feels like they're intentionally hitting civilians. I don't know how else to interpret what's going on, because the civilians are here, on these 3 streets mostly, and like the Ukrainian military is like out more, and the civilians are like in the back, and Russia is like pretty much exclusively like hitting the civilians. Like it's crazy how many shells. Like every video we have of Avdiivka, like even if the video is depicting like a shell hitting like further out, like where the military would be, like out here, even when we see that, there's still smoke rising from the civilian area. I don't know if you've noticed that, Gik, but like it's really it's really difficult. Like Avdiivka's, like I'm not talking military here, like but civilian wise, it's really horrific, incredibly depressing.
Yeah, I think that that news about the worst day there so far is pretty much in line with the renewed offensive efforts by the Russians.
Yeah, there's
So pretty easy to connect those dots at least.
I have some like video and stuff I could show. This is all from a few days ago. Oh boy, too loud. Here, this is like this video is from a little while ago because obviously there's no snow. The weather in Avdiivka right now is horrible, by the way. All the snow melted today and turned into slush. It's just like 6 to 12 inches of just slush. And mixed in the slush is just like bricks and shrapnel. So like you're walking through this like a hell puddle. I'll like like every step you take is like you're risking your ankle. And that's kind of the weather right now. And this is this is from a little bit ago. I have a more recent video here. This is kind of more recent. This is the date. So this is from the 13th, I believe, an airstrike on the coke plant. And here's a video of the civilians who still live here for some reason. It's just horrible. I also have some photos of this house. It's a really depressing story connected to this house. I don't feel like telling it, but it was a really bad one. And yeah, this is just kind of what Avdiivka is, and these are the people who still live there. So you can see that they're all young and healthy, you know, perfectly capable of walking through a hell puddle of slush and bricks and shrapnel, you know, which I'm sure will freeze over into solid ice tonight. Oops. So notice how she has a little lamp on her head. So that's a Avdiivka, at least from a civilian point of view. There was recently a woman who was hit, almost a direct hit from an artillery shell, where she was not wounded very severely, but she was wounded pretty badly. And she had to be emergency evacuated from Avdiivka. And you can imagine the danger of evacuating from the city during the day, which is probably the worst time to leave. So having to get in a car and drive along this road, which is under constant artillery fire and basically fire control from Russia, also under constant FPV drone fire as well, and constant surveillance in general. So you have to fly through that, drive through that on icy roads, icy unpaved roads, by the way, and then try to get away. Not fun. Not what I would want to do. But they got her out and they got her to the hospital. I wish the civilians weren't there. But they are. We had this Gik, do you want to talk about this video of the Russian attack?
Actually, I'm pretty sure you can show it because that's only the prelude to what's going to happen next. But anyway, yeah, it's another wave of assault by the Russians. Pretty large column. What was interesting is that most of the vehicles we see destroyed were not destroyed at that moment, but were destroyed like sometime in the past. We don't know exactly when.
I believe that they were dated to December 10th.
That might actually be, but so there's still old losses coming to today now.
Yes, and this was not the only tank column that attacked. I believe there were 3, and they all came from a different direction. I don't know if we'll get fancy videos of the other 2, though.
Do you know where they came from, the other 2?
Yes. I'll tell you in a minute. At least I know where one of them came from. I don't know where the other one is. You could probably guess.
Yeah, I can probably. So yeah, it's the same thing all over again.
Yes, this is my mouse wasn't in the right place, but that vehicle there was actually an uncommon vehicle. It was a BTR-50. Yeah, and here you can see some vehicles. Over there's like a BMP that's destroyed, like right there, whatever, or over there, whatever. You can see a BMP is right next to the road when this kind of goes down. So there's a BMP here, there's a BMP here, there's a BMP like right there. If you look, oh, no, it's too late. There's a MTLB that just blew up right over here a few seconds ago in the video in the very far distance that Gik confused me with earlier today. But yeah, this is their little assault. They've assaulted along this general line so many times, and they've lost so many vehicles doing it. Like, they've had to have lost... oh, there's a story to this vehicle. I don't know if you saw this, Gik, but this front vehicle apparently was a tank that was loaded with explosives, and the Ukrainians were saying that they thought it was a kamikaze, like a remote control tank, and it eventually catastrophically exploded. And but right before it exploded, the crew jumped out, and they're like, "Wait, there's a crew in there?"
yeah, I read that.
Yeah, and then there's another BMP lost right next to it. Yeah, and there's...
So yeah, and I think the video cuts off there now. So definitely there's going to be a second part to that.
Yeah. So they more or less drove this arrow here. I think they started I couldn't figure out where they started, and it made me really frustrated. I thought they like started over here and drove down and like that and then up, but I couldn't. Whatever.
No, I think they drive through the village actually, if I remember correctly.
Whatever. The other tank assault, the other tank column came down like this. Is that what you guessed? So they...
Well, first I guess one in from Siverna direction.
So one tank column came down and into these dodges. One came across and down, and I don't know, attacked here, I guess. And they said there was a third, but I don't know where the third was. Yeah, this was a pretty significant attack. So these are all the vehicles that we found destroyed in this video. Um, Not many of them were destroyed in this attack. Um, so this was a BTR 50. Um, this was a T-72 and a BMP 2. Um, and that's not right. I mapped it wrong. I need to fix that. Uh, Whatever. Uh, and a BTR. This MTLB is supposed to be over here. Over here. Whatever. I screwed that up. And then we had a BMP and a BMP and another BMP. And this is the. I listed this as a BMP, but I've subsequently learned that this was a tank that exploded. So that was that attack. And there's apparently a similar sized one that attacked these notches. So yeah. I guess we'll see more about this probably tomorrow.
What do you think about the prospects of that angle of attack there? Because it's quite an open field.
It is not the first time they've attacked this field, and every single time it's gone really bad. Like almost 100% casualties every single time. It's been incredible to watch. I remember one time they drove down like here, down to like over here, and then like drove this way and just got obliterated in this field. And the other time they kind of drove down here and crossed here and got obliterated all here. A bunch of these vehicles that are destroyed along this uh, the stretch of wood, you could see in that video, were all old from this attack. I can't remember when that attack happened. It was like it was a long time ago. I want to say August something. I can't remember. It was a very long time ago. Yeah. So Avdiivka's heating up a little bit. With no known changes, which is incredible. No major changes anyway. I don't really understand what Russia's goal is in these attacks, in like this sort of attack. Because even if you move up and you dismount your infantry, because you like how many infantry could you bring like in this attack? It looked like there may have been like 5 MTLBs and like maybe 5 BMPs. So like even if everyone carried 100, like 20 guys, even if all of them carried 20 guys, there'd be 200 guys, right? So like I don't think they even hold 20, to be honest. You'd have to like store them on top, but they do that sometimes. But it would still only be 200 infantry, and you'd imagine you lose a whole bunch of them moving up. How long can you hold them? And how can you resupply it? I don't understand the goal. Like it's attacking so far. I could understand more. Like I don't know, man. It's just weird. I don't get it.
Which means you encourage it.
I would understand it more if they like stacked up dudes like here and then like pushed infantry up and then got an infantry foothold and then attacked. That would make more sense to me. But they haven't done that. They're like using this attack to get that infantry foothold. And I don't think it's going to go well because even if they get the foothold, they're going to lose like 10 vehicles doing this. How are they going to resupply it? They're really going to lose another 10 vehicles resupplying it? Are they just going to do that every time they have to resupply? It doesn't make sense to me. But anyways, I guess it worked in Krasnohorivka. When they were like all they had to do was lose like 200 vehicles and they captured a tree line. But I guess they'll just do it again. They have 200 vehicles too many. They're gonna send them all to capture this tree line right here. There was news today, without any video or anything, that Russia advanced somewhere north of Pervomaisky, or like up here somewhere. I don't know where. I don't know if they mean in the town or north of it or like here. I don't know. There's no specifics other than all the Ukrainians in this general location say it happened. But anyway, moving on south. There are rumors of Russia advancing north of Avdiivka, but again, no specifics and no actual proof. I would not be shocked if they've been moving up this tree line, and maybe even this one. They could even control all of it. We've seen a lot of video from quite a while ago where Russia is pretty heavily attacking all of these locations. It's possible that they captured them all a while ago. I actually wouldn't be surprised. They seem to post videos only like when they're on the verge of capturing or when they've already captured. I've noticed that. Oh. I have a question for you, Gick. What do you think of the Wagner attacking Stepova?
Well, I think it's a Wagner patch. So I'm not interpreting too much into that, to be honest. A lot of people are wearing those patches. Maybe it's some Wagner who joined the armed forces. Maybe it's just some fanboy of Wagner. I don't know. But well, I appreciated the final state of that.
Yeah, I enjoyed watching it, but this part of the map update today/yesterday, it greatly amused me, because a lot of people copied this map update and invented all sorts of stories about this great Russian offensive. They've moved across a front 7 kilometers wide. It's huge offensive, you know? It wasn't a huge offensive. I'll tell you what. So these tree lines here, up until like this road, especially, I figured that Russia had captured all of this in like April, but there was never any proof of that they captured it. There's never video. There were so few videos that came from here ever. Like before, just a few weeks ago, there were never videos. I always looked on the satellite. I was always very curious about this area. And the satellite never showed anything. It never showed shelling. It never showed anything. Like the whole area was just blank. So I kept this whole area as a gray zone, even though I was pretty sure Russia had captured it. And it wasn't until yesterday when the video of Russia moving up this tree line here to capture these positions came out that I decided to just fill this all in, because I was pretty sure they had captured up to the highway at a minimum, and maybe even this tree line. And then we get this video that they first captured here, and then they captured here, and then they captured here. Ukraine tried to counterattack, and the counterattack went very badly. But this didn't all happen yesterday. Even though if you look at Telegram, a lot of channels are pretending it, and it greatly amuses me. Yep. And I don't really have any news from Zaporizhia. What do you think, Gick? Do you have news for Zaporizhia?
No, not really. I think we can jump to Kherson, and there I think the only news is actually air defense assets being destroyed.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Yeah.
Uragan.
Yeah, the Uragan. Yeah, yesterday afternoon, the command south stated that they destroyed 2 Uragan, and this morning they posted the video. They were very proud of it. I don't know how they were destroyed. Do you have any ideas? It was not a Gimler.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure either. I think I wrote down Gimler in the spreadsheet because to me anything at that range. Look at that picture.
Oh, what? Okay, I'm so confused.
That's not an Uragan, but
No,
you
it's
can
not.
show the video
Okay, I'll
technically.
show you. How does that happen?
I think
How does
it's
it happen
airburst,
so
right?
consistently? Yeah, I think it's a volcano, to be honest. It's not a Gimler. It's definitely not a Gimler. Because it's way too small. And second, it comes in on the wrong angle. Okay, so let me see if I could pause it at the right time. Because literally only one frame. Let's see if I can get it. Do you see the little dog running around? I always watch the little dog. Okay, so here it is. This is the shell, right? That's not a Gimler.
Yeah, doesn't look like.
It's either Excalibur or Volcano. But I don't know which. I don't even know how to tell them apart, to be honest, other than range.
I think the shape of the volcano should be different.
Yeah, but this is like 2 pixels.
That should be enough. You only need 2 pixels for a vehicle. Why do you need more for a shell?
Yeah, I really think it's a volcano. Yeah, so we get like 2 frames of this volcano, and then it explodes. Yeah. Man, it really frustrates me that this is the wrong image. How did I screw that up? I don't even, whatever. Just more things for me to fix. What do you think of all these OSAs being destroyed? Just they've been losing 1+ per day, seemingly.
I don't know. All I can say is that there is a pattern in Kherson with air defense assets.
Yeah, and they all seem to be destroyed around this giant pile of sand. It makes you think. It makes me think. Do you know what I'm thinking, Gig?
Well, go ahead.
There might be people in a big pile of sand. If there was a place to hide, this would be the place to hide. Do you remember when we were walking through? Or no, that was Ireland. Anyway, I was walking through this big pile of sand because there's so many pictures of this sand.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's even Street View. I think someone mapped the.
Yeah, there's a camel.
Mm-hmm.
Remember So
and I mean the surface has the big advantage that if you dig in and you put sand on top of whatever you build, it's really hard to distinguish.
because all the air defense is around us. It's all in this arc. Maybe it's just a coincidence, but maybe there's people in the sand. I don't know. Maybe
it's also more the foresty area which attracts vehicles.
Yeah. That I'm pretty sure that thing that you're talking about with the Russians complaining about being trapped on islands. I'm pretty sure Romanov was quoting a Ukrainian.
There was that story of the 810th being trapped on islands. There was an island in front of Grinky. And that story was very sophisticated. It wasn't only Romanov, but it was also the actual unit Telegram channel. It was several Telegram channels pointing that out. So it appeared at the time back then, and that's already like 2 months ago or something like that. So I'm not sure if there's any news story. But back then, it appeared that Ukraine had landed on one of those islands, and Russia decided to counterattack, and those forces were cut off more or less on that island. This is at least what I remember. I think there is some truth to that story because it was in some significant channels. Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure it was. Let me look. I think it was. Let me. I'll just look. Because I'm pretty sure he was referring to a Ukrainian channel when he said that.
Is it recent?
Yeah, it's from today.
Okay. Then I was just talking something which has no relevancy at all.
This is the thingy. Is this it? No, this isn't it. Let me find it. I thought that was it. Do you want to talk for a minute? Oh yeah, here it is.
Oh, thank God. I can't talk for a minute.
Oh, it was Russian. Okay. All right. So it was Russian. Okay.
Okay, so they're on several other islands.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
Well-
we know they're on islands. We see videos of them on islands all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. This guy, I didn't know it was legal for Russians to have unicorns as a name.
You know, yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to comment on that, I guess.
I mean, with the way they talk about toilets, I don't know, man.
You know, unicorns are very majestic alpha animals.
Very alpha.
Very alpha.
That's why they only hang out with maidens.
I mean, pooping rainbow ice cream seems pretty alpha, to be honest.
So there were a lot of rumors today, unsubstantiated, I just want to state, that Ukraine expanded the bridgehead in Grinky. I have no clue if that's true, but everybody's talking about it. It's one of those things that everybody like to say today. You could probably find some quotes. I think Sniper was talking about it.
I don't think I saw a single video from Crinky today. At least I don't Oh, I think there's one, which I didn't geolocate.
Yeah, Sniper was talking about that. I don't know if it's true. I have no idea. I kind of doubt it, but maybe. Anyways, that's kind of all the news I got.
No, there's like we skipped Bakhmut, and Bakhmut is quite important today because there were also some significant assaults.
Oh,
But that's but maybe Konstantin can talk about that.
yeah. The videos I geolocated in Bakhmut today were not fun, I'll tell you that. They blew up everything. Just everything exploded. Everything. Boom. That was the video. I could show the video. The video doesn't show anything bad, but this video is just everything goes boom. Oh, in the beginning there's a drone duel.
And that's above a Yaga drone, is it?
Yes. I geolocated it too.
I knew you would do that.
It was easy to find. This
Drone air-to-air combat is so
Yeah.
important to you.
this tree was very easy to locate.
But the fact that it cuts off, I'm not sure if that drone really won, or if they might be that both drones were lost. I don't know. It's hard to keep a tally in those duels.
These hexadrones, they can fly with only 5. So this is the great shelling. So first they hit it with grids, just tons of grids, and they just start shooting toss, right? So they complete miss. That's okay though. There's more where that came from. So then they just start lighting up the whole forest of toss. Yeah, and one toss completely missed somehow. I'd love to hear an explanation for that. But then they shot some cluster munitions. So yeah, they blew up the whole forest of cluster munitions, right? And then they just kept shooting toss. Just like, have more toss, please. They just blew up everything. They blew up the whole forest. It's actually 2 forests. They blew up both.
And that likely also preceded recent assaults, I would assume. So that video might be preceding those assaults.
Maybe.
And I can tell you one thing: tracking or keeping track of the assault is a mess, because there's so many different units and drone squads operating in the area. So you get pieces of the same assault, through that Telegram channel, and it's a hit on a BMP, and then you have to match that to some other Telegram channel which posted 3 days ago about an assault with that BMP again. Sorry again, Konstantin?
Which assault was this?
This is Klishivka. So currently we're looking at
This is yesterday, right?
I'm not sure when the bombardment was. But yeah, the assault we're talking about is yesterday, Klishivka.
Yeah, I have this is the videos right now that Jubri is working right now on. I think it may be part of the same events. It was like a massive attack. They came from different axes. He said that it was attacked not only on Klishivka. Can you scroll out a bit? He also said Ivanivka also was, or I think it was Ivanivska, yeah. It was also assault on it. He also has the videos for me from there, but they're not in a very poor resolution. I'm waiting for him to upload. So it was a massive assault. I will upload if our friend finishes the editing today. I will upload the video tomorrow. So of this assault as well. It's quite telling. It's going to be high resolution. I think you've seen pieces of it.
Yeah, I mean, 5th Brigade is posting a lot of snippets, and then they have several drone squads operating there, also posting snippets. 93rd is posting snippets. 92nd at the same time destroyed a tank today, and it's really hard to understand where that tank is. And like, I've looked at all those places so many times, I feel like normally I should know exactly where something is, but yeah, it's just hard because every video is then cut to, I don't know, 10 or 15 seconds, and
I can
no
tell
zoom.
that was Artyom, one of my friends who was today he showed me this video and said that he was on that stream. So I can ask him if you have problems. I can ask him where exactly that was.
That would help greatly.
Yep. So that tree I was talking about is that tree right there. It was easy to find.
Yeah.
So is there anything
Andrew, I don't know. I sent you a video in Telegram like a moment ago. I don't know if you can show it. It doesn't have violence, but it has one explosion and people on the far from it. But is it? I just it's maybe not related to the stream, but you can show it. And I was wondering if it's possible to geolocate. It's loading right now, 13 megabytes left, so
Okay.
you'll have to 10.
Yeah, I was looking. I was like, you didn't send me anything.
Well, it's 2
We can-
megabytes.
We can live geolocate that, Andrew, right?
Oh, sure.
Can it be shown,
It's very-
Konstantin?
Yeah, it's I showed this video in general channel that we have, and said that this is upsetting. I said, come on, but it's like this is
Oh,
you
that
don't see
one.
much from there. Yeah, but this is like a high quality, full resolution.
Yeah, I'm just gonna look to make sure it's not bad. I'm watching it at like 2x speed.
I'm just wondering if it's possible to geolocate the video like this, because it's very high res, but it's
Yeah, I mean the tree lines are having very distinctive patterns. Yeah, I think I know where this is. 1 second, let me.
It is very distinctive. I'm currently downloading it. It's about 1/3 downloaded.
yeah, it's my friend. He was on rotation, so they were not part of anything for like 2 months. And today he shared this and couple of gigabytes more. But it's like all night operations. So I don't know where he is. I don't know in which part they are, because they were redeployed. I did not ask him. I don't think it's a secret, but I did not ask him. So it would be interesting for me to find out.
Yeah.
I'm still downloading it. Give me a second.
So I was pretty sure it's gonna be a little puddle outside of Avdiivka, but if you tell me that he's not even in 92nd or any of those
No,
brigades,
that's not. I will not say the unit, but it's not. It's not the unit that has been known for being in Bakhmut.
okay. Yeah. Okay. That makes it a bit more tricky then, because if you don't even know the general location,
The
or
trees,
gen-
this look like pine trees to me, so which
Yes.
makes me think that maybe it's the Kremin, like the Serebryansky forest, Kremina.
That would make this much harder to find, I think. It does look kind of like sand too. All right, I'm like 97% loaded. Here we go. We have a whole bunch of little Russians hiding. Oh, this is sped up. I forgot. It's amazing how high res this is compared to the footage I see normally. I'm so used to like FPV drones with like they're like 2 pixels.
I apologize. Have to step away and drop the glass of the.
I would not show that part. Okay, I'll keep showing this part.
nothing happens.
They all walk away. And then it zooms out. This does kind of look like sand. What do you think? Where do you think it is? Gick, do you have a location yet? What's taking you so long?
No, my job just got a lot harder.
Yeah, it does look like pine trees. uh, like I don't even know where that would be. You would have to be like, oi, oi. It's a hard one to do on the fly.
Yeah.
Maybe the audience at home can find it. What do you think?
Yeah, I know there are some geolocators watching the stream. They probably already found it and they're currently mocking us for being so slow.
Yeah, I'll restart it. Yeah, you see a little path here. You see a bunch of little Russians hiding. Hellfire missiles are really heavy and big. I don't think a drone can, at least the small drones. I don't think they can do it. You'd need something big to do that. Like I don't think a TB2 can even do that. And the TB2s are pretty big. Anxiety says, I bet it's somewhere in Ukraine.
Yeah. I've been wrong on that guess a couple of times as well already.
Yeah. I don't know, dude. This one's a hard one.
You know, it's not hard if you know roughly where to look, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's always easier when you know roughly where to look, of course. But
Yeah,
this is
and
like
that's typically the minimum requirement because Ukraine is huge.
do you know those power lines in the forest?
Yeah.
Do you think this could
Yeah.
be the power lines, near the power lines?
No.
Why not? Fine.
No, because that, in my opinion, all of those areas look very different. And there's a crossroad. I mean, a cross path, which isn't very typical for that area.
Well, that area is wide open. That's why I guessed there. Maybe the people at home can find it faster than we can.
I feel like we're not gonna find it unless we want to break the new record for the longest YouTube stream ever.
It would be so much easier if we had any clue where it was. Anyways.
You know, when Konstantin said it, I felt like immediately, okay, it must be Avdiivka area. And that's when I even found a place there which looks remotely similar.
Well, maybe Constantine's just lying to us. Maybe it is over there.
What did you say? I'm lying?
Yeah, maybe.
You said it's definitely not Avdiivka area, right?
No, I did not say that. I said that this unit was not there before, but I said they were redeployed, and that's why I don't know where they are.
Oh.
Okay.
So this could be Crinky. Could be anywhere.
That snow, I don't think there is much snow in Pinky right now.
I don't know. Actually, I think there might be. I'll put it this way. When I tried to buy a satellite image from Crinky the other day, it was covered in snow. So it may have melted today though, because apparently a lot of snow melted today. I don't know, dude. Maybe it is a small pond. Maybe it's just Constantine messing with us. I don't know.
Okay, I think I shared. Let's try another one. Let's try another. It's there in this area, so you may actually,
He feels bad for us. He's giving us an easier one.
Give me 1 second. No, this one is not easy. Yeah, this one should be easier. Give me
From
one
the same guy.
Yeah, same guy, so it can give us the area.
Is it gonna be two more trees now?
No, this it has railroad on it, so
There's a railroad.
That's very interesting.
That changes everything. It's also a railroad. What kind of
but
railroad?
to verify that you can show it first, okay? It's because
Okay. Where are you messaging me? Are you messaging?
yeah, it's uploading.
Okay.
It's sure it's not high res, so
Imagine we're breaking brand new videos here, which are not public anywhere, and it's the most boring videos ever.
Dude,
Poor
Constantine, remember when you sent me that video where it was just like a bunny hopping?
Bobby?
It was a rabbit. It was just like a rabbit hopping around for like 2 minutes. And then like a mortar shell lands.
So this one has really at the end, it has really distinctive features. Like
Yeah.
it should
Well, I
be
have
so
to-
easy to geolocate.
Yeah, that's what he says. I have to watch it first. To make sure nobody goes splat.
I feel like the fact that it's not high res actually makes it more likely for you guys to actually successfully geolocate it.
There's just too many
Yeah.
pixels. We don't have to work with that many. Oh, there's a
Yeah,
horizon, Gick. There's a horizon.
Oh my god.
I'm watching. I'll give it as soon as I know that there's no one going splat. I'll put it up. There's a horizon.
Oh, it's time to embarrass ourselves.
I'm gonna take this opportunity to say goodnight and
All right.
log off because I have ships to track. But
Okay.
I will keep an eye on you boys and make sure you actually get this geolocated because I'm counting.
Dude,
Take corrected.
there's so much more detail in this one, even though it's lower res.
I feel like I'm being cheated because I haven't seen it yet.
You will see it in a second. I don't see a train track. There's a circle. Oh my god, we can see everything. This is all you need to see. Look, this is what you need to see. Look, there's this circle. You see?
Mhm.
And then it like zooms out. There's like a rectangle. That's like a train track.
Mhm.
Have you found it yet?
I feel like I've seen it.
There's a horizon. What more do you need?
Oh,
Look, this,
oh, look at that.
look at that.
That's beautiful.
It's beautiful. What more could you need?
Nothing, but are you looking as well, or is it just me?
I'm looking as well.
Okay, good. Then I'm gonna ask you the same question. What more do you need?
Oh, we have some French horn going on too.
Yeah, what was that about?
Constantine installer plays a French horn.
Yeah, she's playing now. They told me that they. So I went to take like a 20-minute nap, maybe half an hour nap. My wife was away, and she comes back. So like she comes back into our, and asks me like 10 minutes ago, did kids play the musical instruments? And I'm like, I don't know, I have not heard them, so I guess no. She comes to them and asks them, did you play it? And they say, yeah, we played it. And she said, well, your father didn't hear it. And they say, well, he was sleeping. No, I would definitely wake up if you would
So
play for each horn.
I did find it. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, where is it?
Sinkivka. It's Liman Pershi to the west.
To the west.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely found it.
I found it.
You found it. Yeah, you found it.
There. Here it is.
So where is it?
Sinkivka.
It's in
That's
Liman
Kupiansk, right?
Liman Pershi.
Kupiansk,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Kupiansk.
Yes. So where was the first video, nerd? Is it here? So another game, well, another play game of guess that. I think it's right here, to be honest. I think I'm right.
Where do you think it is? Because I'm trying to get it up on my own Telegram here.
I think it's that open sand just to the west, like right here.
Towards the Oscar.
Yeah, I think it's because there's like in this little like ring, um, there's like a hole in the ground that you can see that is almost exactly the right shape, and it's surrounded by these trees, and there's this path, and I kind of think that might be it, although I'm not convinced.
I'm looking at Apple Maps right now, and I can't see what you see. Oh, unless you mean that. But would they be there is the next question.
If they wanted to be attacked, maybe. Sometimes they just do silly things.
Because I think I found it, and I'm pretty sure. 1 second. Yeah, I found it 100%.
Show off.
Wait, I grab my keyboard, turned off. 1 second. I'll just post it into the chat. Okay, there you go. It's in the Discord chat. It's definitely there, and it's got the puddle.
It's got a puddle. Well, it's next to that, yeah. There's the puddle.
Yeah, you can see the little road. You can see everything.
There it is. Next to that lake. It's a lake with no water. That's how you know you're a lake.
Well, it waits for the rain. It's a reservoir.
Okay. We did it. Are you happy, Constantine?
Oh yeah, no, nothing have changed for me, but
Why did we do this?
Okay.
well, we can. It's a success at the end of the stream, so that's
Hey, man.
how we want to end it.
That's the closest we get to good news.
And maybe we motivated someone from the audience to actually, I don't know, start geolocating.
Yeah. Yeah, I can give you let's leave the people another video, right? Is there-
yeah. Or the other 200 per day.
I'm gonna look to see if this video is showable. And if it is, I'll leave the people. No, this is not. That was a body literally ripped in half. Not showable. Never mind. I don't know, dude. I don't. Maybe leaving the people with something is a bad idea.
Dear children, you all got homework to do now. Every stream gives you homework. we pick the most ridiculous video which we couldn't geolocate, and we ask you to do it.
Oh, I have one. I have one. The only thing hurt in this video is a Murrumpee. And you know how I feel about Murrumpees. I don't really consider them people. I consider them robots. I don't like
But that
robots.
that one is publicly geolocated, and it's actually, it's written on screen. You share the geolocation.
Oh, never mind. Never mind. It is written on screen. I just wanted to show it because it's a robot and robots aren't people. But okay. What's one where no people are hurt? Oh, here's one. You can find this one. This is publicly known, okay, but it's not hard either, and it's kind of interesting. It's not. This is two Russian Su-25s flying. You can see them; they're little dots. Apparently, pooping out flares. Every once in a while, pooping out a flare. So, try to find this one. This one's pretty easy to find. Look, you get a whole horizon and everything. Get a hole in the ground. How often do you see holes in the ground? This could be
In
your...
Bakhmut, that could be any inch.
Look, it's another hole in the ground. Look how many holes in it. See, look, there's jets. Find those jets. That's my homework to the people. Find the jets on your own. Don't use the internet. If you give up, you can use the internet.
Wait,
but it
don't
doesn't
use the
count.
internet. Are you asking them to travel there?
Yeah.
So Google Maps is allowed, but Twitter isn't.
Don't cheat. Don't cheat. Look, find it yourself. It's not hard. It's not hard. You can find it. Look, there's so much information. You can find it. That's your homework, everybody.
Oh, I enjoy this so much.
Are we offline?
What's that?
Are we offline?
Not yet, no.
No, not yet, not yet.
You should show the video that Jaburi shared in the group.
Should I show it? Is it bad?
Just makes fun of me.
Oh, I know that video. Or I think I know that.
Yeah, this one.
Or
With music, you need-
I can't play it with music.
Oh yeah,
It's really hard to
that's
play
an
with
older one,
music.
isn't it? It's an older one.
I see it first time, but it's
No,
Oh.
I think it's.
Oh,
an
this
older
is
one.
this is the
It's
bunny
first
rabbit one. This is the bunny rabbit one. Well, this isn't, but this was in that group of videos.
Yeah, I remember that one because that was a batch of videos where I think like for
Dude.
hours nothing happened other than the same shelling. Like one shell landing
that
every 2 minutes.
video, like
Yeah, exactly.
it was packed full of information, and it was information that we got before everybody. Like it took like deep state like 3 months to figure out what was in that video. I guess they didn't deep state didn't have access to that bunny, did he? Nope. Because there's that little bunny jumping around. It was right here. It was like hop 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 hop.
I have like terabytes of videos like this that probably contain some information but not dramatic enough for me to post them.
Well, I mean, there was one video in that group that I could never geolocate, and it really frustrated me. I still have it saved somewhere. I think I have it saved. Let me see if I can find it. Do you roughly remember when that was?
Oh, that must have been August or something. I feel like that was August or September.
Well, dude, my map will tell me. My map will literally tell me what day that was. It was 9/13. Okay. What a time to be alive. Yeah, this is it. This is the video. Look at it go. This is it. This is we look for this. This is drone footage. Look at this hot steamy action. That's it.
But
Oh, that wasn't it. Oh well, that's interesting. Yeah, but there was another.
to be honest, dramatic footage. Like when I see dramatic footage, I often miss the action because there's the syndrome. I think most of the geolocators have by now that all you see is just tree lines and landmarks and stuff like that. And then on the second time watching the video, if you have time to watch it another time, you actually realize that, I don't know, something happened.
Yeah. It took me a really long time to see that. Remember when today you marked a video, you said something happens at 1 minute and 45 seconds. I just kept rewatching it over and over again until I found a vehicle got hit by an FPV drone way in the background. I thought that was what you were talking about.
Yeah, no. I didn't even notice that.
I watched the video like 50 times.
I was so surprised when you told me about it.
Yeah, I could show you. I could show you again the at minute 45. We'll pay attention to that. I need to fix this stupid mapping.
I saw it when you showed it on stream earlier. But I can tell you that like I typically have it open on 2 screens, and then the video is playing on the right, and I actually have to turn my head to the right because that's how stupid I have my setup here. And I have maps open on the left. So basically what I do is I track movement, and I was more focused on where do they go.
So look right there. You got hit by an FPV drone or something. I don't know. I had to rewatch. Like I was just going like this. I was just rewatching it over and over again. I didn't notice that the thing you wanted me to see was like this like broken down vehicle like right there. This is what he wanted me to see. That. I was like, how was I supposed to know that from the timestamps?
But I think I put coordinates there. You could have entered them.
Yeah, I did eventually do that. But look at this. If I had just resorted to your coordinates, I would have never seen this glorious FPV drone. You know, right there. Boom. Got him. And then you see the vehicle like drive forward, like it keeps driving for a bit. But then they zoom in on all the infantry like running away, right? Because
yeah, I mean probably it was packed with infantry on top.
Yeah, so it like shows these people, but it's gonna go up in a second and show you that this MTLB got hit like right here, and then it went to there, and all the guys jumped out and ran away. Like, okay, bye, we did our job, bye.
Yeah, they're not gonna catch up to the rest, so I can see their point.
Yeah, they get to say that they are casualties of battle, technically.
Yeah. With the one which just came, oh, well, you don't see it anymore, but the one which just got into frame there, I was confused because the tracks looked like it came from the Ukrainian side.
Oh yeah,
that one.
Yeah,
but I'm pretty sure it's not Ukrainian. It might be from an earlier attack, which
I think it is from an earlier attack.
Maybe when they wanted to reach the tree line and then on return it got disabled or something.
You see both. Actually, there's 3 vehicles here, aren't there? Is that a vehicle? I don't know. That's a vehicle. I think that's this track goes to that. I think, and this one goes to that.
Yeah.
But there's more tracks. There's 2 more tracks. What's up with that? Anyways, I think one of these I think that's a BMP-1, and this I couldn't tell, or the other way around. There is a one single frame in this video that's like a close-up of that one. Anyways, I think that's the stream. We've covered a lot of ground here. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think yeah, one sentence I wanted to make with regards to Avdiivka, I'm just worried that in a month or so from now we will search for that one spot of grass in between all the destroyed vehicles rather than searching for a landmark vehicle destroyed somewhere. It's
the planes. We never talked about the planes. We just yeah. Luis is like, did you talk about the planes the first 8 minutes? No. The answer is no. We never talked about the planes. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything to say about the planes? I mean, one
really.
Well,
we can say there was a misinformation campaign like yesterday, I think, where people were trying to make it look like that photograph was old when it actually there's no reason to believe that photograph is old. It's I don't know if people were doing it as like a meme, as a joke, or as an intentional misinformation campaign. But that photograph of the damaged IL-22, pretty sure it's new, and all the people saying that it's from like 2 years ago or something, there's no reason to believe that's true.
Yeah, I think what I noticed is that several excuse me, several people shared the very same screenshot of a old news article with that picture. However, looking up the article itself, it shows a pretty stock picture of an IL-22. That's one thing. The other thing is that several traces, in the picture lead towards Anapa Airport. That being the fire engine. I think Plinska noticed that. Then, several like the blue rooftop of the building. It's also a very particular trace of the Anapa Airport. So that all fits to the story. Reverse image searching for the damaged plane didn't give any results for me, at least. I mean, I tried on Yandex, which is, of course, a Russian search. Typically, you also find some stuff which is against the Russian official guidelines of releasing information. So it should have showed up there if it was, a story which they had officially in the past. But there was no result. So I'm pretty sure that, I don't know, maybe someone wanted to cope that the IL-22 is actually a submarine as much as the A-50 is.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, the A-50 appears to be lost, apparently. Although some Russians are saying that it safely landed. I don't buy it.
It did safely land underwater.
Yeah. It landed into the the aircraft carrier under the sea,
Yeah, protected by the Moskva.
Yep. As you can see in our thumbnail today.
But Russia is quite confusing. We have submarines on land. We have planes in the water.
See here? This is we have the Moskva in the background. We have the Su-24. Now we have an A-50. They're all swimming together, little fishies. So anyways, I think that's the stream. I think I'm going to stop it now. It was nice talking to everybody. Thank you for everybody who came. And most people left by now. And see you next time. Goodbye.
Take care.